Okay, so today's topic, I'm trying to keep this kind of car related as we're gearing up for Motorama. So I figured I'd do one on car show etiquette. I've been to a lot of different car shows. The most recent was Cavalcade of Cars at the Hamburg Fairgrounds. And I've seen a lot of no-nos, I guess. I'm not sure if people just don't know or they don't care. But I figure a lot of people actually don't really get the nuance of how to behave at a car show. So I figured I'd do a video on it real quick. That way, if anybody was wondering, this should clear a few things up. So number one, and this should be obvious, but based on what I've seen, it's not. Do not touch something if it does not belong to you. I don't care if that is a car or a part or a chair or whatever. I've seen so many people walk up to cars and put their hands all over them. That's not okay. That is not alright. Unless the owner of the car gives you permission specifically to touch it, don't touch it. Just don't. Those guys spend a lot of time cleaning and waxing and buffing those cars so that the finish is ridiculously glossy. Every time somebody touches it, there's fingerprints all over the car. And if that car is going to be photographed later, it looks like crap. Also, just don't touch it. They're really expensive. Whether or not it looks expensive, chances are it's really expensive. So just don't touch them. Following number one, we're going to move into number two, and it's still related, is be aware of your surroundings and what you are wearing. When I go to car shows, I'm usually decked out. And I have jewelry and rings and bangles and earrings and necklaces all over me. I realize that I need to keep a wider berth from a car because of all of my dangly metal objects that could possibly damage the finish. Same thing, purses if you are a girl. Don't let it clunk into, and I know sometimes they get heavy. My purse by the end of the day at a car show will probably be close to 50 pounds with all of the flyers and swag and random crap that gets shoved in there. And you lean over, you know, to look at something and the purse kind of whoops. You gotta watch that purse that it doesn't slam into a car. Number three, do not get into or on a car unless you are invited to do so. And this is mainly for aspiring models, I guess, and pinup models. Those cars are not meant to support the weight of a full-grown adult woman. They're not. I mean, yes, you see pictures with girls on cars, and that's fine and dandy, but typically those are very contrived, staged photo shoots where the owner has expressly given permission for people to climb all over their car. At a car show, for one, it is neither the time nor the place unless you are being employed by the event or by the car owner or by a car club. Don't do that. Number four, posing with cars. Even if you don't plan on touching them, it's still polite to ask before you start taking saucy pictures next to a car. A lot of those cars are owned by women and they aren't into that. A lot of those cars are owned by very religious people and they don't want that. A lot of them are guys who have wives who would be uncomfortable with that. The polite thing to do is ask. If someone says no, be gracious about it and move on. If they say yes, make sure that they're involved and look to them for guidance on what to do. Kids at car shows. As I mentioned in my previous video, I have kids. I have two. I bring them to car shows. However, and I saw a lot of this going on at Cavalcade, car shows are not a place for horsing around. They're not, do not run and sprint and kickbox next to a car. Do not play a rousing game of soccer, which I did indeed witness, next to an antique car. This was an antique, beautiful car, and there were just kids kicking a ball around, and the ball actually went and hit the driver's side door of the vehicle. I get kids can be a pain in the butt. I understand that sometimes they get bored at car shows. I get sometimes you can't get a sitter. But they need to be kept under control and on a very tight leash. A car show is not a playground, and if you can't keep them under control, then you need to take them home. You have to keep control of your children at all times. No one is going to babysit them for you. I'm sorry, I get really aggravated with this because I'm on top of my kids the entire time we go out. And there's nothing I hate more than going somewhere and being slammed into or kicked or tackled by some kid who's running around with no parents to be seen. I tend to call them orphans because they seem to have no guardians anywhere on the premises. If your children cannot behave for longer than an hour, and if you don't feel like dealing with them, do not bring them to a car show. Mystery solved. That might sound a little harsh, but that's reality. Trash talking. Oh God. You don't have to like every car you see at a car show. You don't. A lot of this stuff is subjective. It's a matter of taste. There's been plenty of things that I've seen that I didn't necessarily care for. I wouldn't do it to my vehicle if I had one. And that's fine. But there's a matter of tact involved. Don't walk past the car that the owner is sitting right next to and go, oh, that's ugly. Why would he do that? Don't do that. That's very rude. Whether or not you appreciate the aesthetic that they chose for their vehicle, you still have to appreciate the amount of work that went into it and have some manners. If you don't like it, keep on walking. Discuss it in the car on the ride home if you really must. But don't badmouth the cars there because that's not what you would do. That's somebody's baby. That's someone's pride and joy that they put a lot of energy into. And I've seen a lot of people that just cannot seem to shut their mouths and mind their P's and Q's and feel the need that they have to absolutely express this negative opinion at this very moment. And that's just not true. You will not explode if you keep that to yourself. Believe me, just stuff it down and walk on by. Oh, I thought of another one. A lot of car shows will employ promo girls, promo models, pin-up girls, or they'll have a pin-up contest on the premises. There will be girls there dressed up or down or in various states of dress or undress based on what's going on around them. If you don't care for it, that's fine. No one is asking you to do it yourself. But I have to draw the line where people make snide remarks and comments, or they sneer and they glare at you. Why? What have I done by existing over here to offend you? I mean, obviously I'm very comfortable because otherwise I would not leave my house like this. I'm comfortable being the center of attention, and I am very okay with looking different than everybody else. That's fine. Oh, kitty. But it's still rude. I mean, I'm there with my husband, I'm there with my children, or I'm working. I don't come to your job and give you crap. Leave me be. Secondly, if you have something to say about my hair or my lipstick or my outfit or my shoes or my body or my appearance or my age or my level of promiscuity, keep it to yourself. You would be amazed at the people who will come up to me and to my face go, I don't like your lipstick, or why does your hair look so funny, or why are you so dressed up? These are random strangers that I don't know from Adam. I'm aware that I look silly. I kind of am going for that look. This didn't happen by accident. This is all on purpose. I didn't fall out of bed in the morning looking like this. I did this. This is deliberate. This is why I get protective over cars that aren't even mine that are getting negative comments, because I have it happen to me and I'm a person. Why are you coming up to me and saying these things? I did not walk up to you and go, why are you wearing sweatpants? Are you sick? Do you have the flu? No, it's rude. Keep it to yourself. Likewise, don't sneer and glare and make the stink eye at people. Be a grown-up. If you are over the age of 12, be a grown-up. You don't have to like what I'm doing. It's okay. That's fine. You don't like it. Don't do it yourself. Don't participate in events that do this stuff. But you can keep that to yourself as well. You don't need to express that to my face while I'm in the middle of doing something. Smoking and or drinking. A lot of these events sell alcohol, mainly beer. I love me a good beer or a bad beer. I really don't care. I like beer. especially because I'm a mom, I don't get out much. If I'm going out and I have a sitter for said event, I'm having a beer or two. Don't get absolutely hammered before 5 p.m. to the point where you are stumbling and falling all over everyone. For one, it's a liability for everybody involved. For two, you could possibly hurt someone, hurt yourself, or damage a very expensive vehicle. Chill out a little bit. Do like everybody else does, have a beer or two, and then go out to a bar afterwards. No big. If you cannot handle your alcohol, I do not suggest drinking a lot of it. I mean, I can drink, that's part of my job, is going out and drinking and meeting people. So I can hold my liquor. But if you can't, have a beer and chill. It's okay to get a Pepsi. Smoking. I smoke, I will admit it. It's a disgusting habit, but I do it. At a lot of outdoor events, there's cars everywhere. Smoke, as people who both smoke and don't smoke know, is a very pervasive odor. It gets into things very quickly and it doesn't come out again. So a lot of us will try to scoot as far away from cars as possible or find a quieter spot where there's not, people or cars, because that will drift right into a vehicle with open doors or open windows and get stuck in the upholstery. Also, sometimes it's windy, sometimes you're not paying attention, sometimes, cherries fall off. Do you really want to be the person who puts a big cigarette burn in someone's seat because there was an accident? I mean, it's a mistake that happens, but don't smoke right next to a car unless you own the car or you know the owner. Just don't do that. I think that's really it. Basically, the general guideline is respect other people's belongings and don't be an asshole. That's basically it. I mean, they're simple things and they seem like common sense, but and we're not talking isolated incidents. The amount of times I see people break these rules, and especially the don't touch things that don't belong to you rule, is, it happens very, very frequently. I don't know why. I don't know if people feel entitled to do whatever they want and that rules don't apply to them and they shouldn't have to be concerned about other people's space. But I'd like to see that maybe start shifting, because I know a few people have stopped bringing their vehicles to car shows entirely because they just couldn't handle the stress of, if I had a car at a car show, I'd like to be able to leave my car and go grab a bite to eat or get a drink or go talk to somebody else about their car without having to worry the entire time if I come back and there's huge scratches down the side of my vehicle or there's somebody in my car farting around in there. These are not things that you should have to worry about, but you do. So just please bear in mind, when you go to car shows, be respectful, be courteous, be aware of your surroundings, keep a tight rein on your children, and don't be a jerk. That's basically it. Be a grown-up. Don't shit talk and don't make obnoxious comments. You don't need to do that. Keep it to yourself. Put it in your journal at night. Write a blog. Put a blog on the internet and do it there. Don't bring that negative energy into a very positive environment. No one wants that. But hopefully I will see a lot of you. Motorama is coming up, so I will be seeing you there, and hopefully I see a lot more people coming out to car shows and behaving themselves. That would be great. And other than that, I think that is it for this particular video. So I will see you next time. Leave any questions or comments or remarks below, and I will get back to you when I get them. Bye!